Oh man, it seems like there's an all-out assault on silver lately. I mean, look at this. If you're starting to feel like you're on an island all by yourself as a silver stacker, trust me, you're not alone. But we got to stay motivated. If you're a long-term stacker, like most of us are, then this is really not bad news. But boy, it is so hard to stay motivated in an atmosphere like this. But we do it. So I'll share with you guys some of the ways I stay motivated and some of the information that keeps me positive about silver stacking. So if you're interested in any of that, stick around. All right. So what has created such a strange environment where silver and gold are going in opposite directions now? Well, it's strange, but it's really not that hard to understand, considering that according to the global economy, the thing that drives the demand for these two metals are different, very different. Okay, so let's just look at 2019. In 2019, industrial demand uh, was about 51% for silver. I mean, so 51% of silver's value in 2019 came from industrial demand, industry, things like solar panels, electronics, medical devices, those kind of things. We talked about those before. Those are what drives the value of silver. That's what drives the demand for silver. Gold, on the other hand, the industry was about 8 or 9% of the demand for gold came from industry. And if you consider the way the world is right now, the way the economy is right now, with industrial need for silver has plummeted because industry is either they're not producing anything or they're producing things at a very limited rate. And gold, on the other hand, since there's so much volatility in the market with this global financial crisis that we're experiencing right now, people have lost confidence in the fiat currency of their government, so they're looking for something with a little bit more intrinsic value, so they're going to gold. That's why you see gold just continuing to climb, especially in these last few days. Gold has really taken off. Silver has not. In fact, silver has lost some ground, and that's because industry is just not producing anything. Now, you got to keep in mind that this is temporary. That the demand for for industries products is not going anywhere. People are still going to need solar panels. People are still going to need electronics. They're still going to need medical devices. The demand for these things has not gone anywhere. It's just being able to meet that demand is what has been curtailed. And so when things get back to some type of normal, that demand is going to be just as strong. But consider this: mines have closed all around the world. I mean, the major silver mines have closed, and some are just about ready to reopen if they're not already reopened at some limited capacity, but they're starting to reopen. So the silver is just not there. The volume of silver that was there prior to the pandemic is not there now. It can't be because they haven't produced it. They haven't mined it out of the ground. They haven't refined it. They haven't minted it. So when the demand finally comes back for silver, they're going to have to use what silver is already available, what is already above ground. So that's going to drive the price of silver up. Now, these are just my own personal opinions based on what I think I understand about the way the markets respond and react to silver. But the thing with us as silver stackers, as far as being long-term silver stackers, the thing with us is all this right here is not bad news. It's not bad news at all because we understand that nothing is permanent. At some point, things are going to get back to normal. And when it does, the the silver and gold ratio is going to come back to where they're supposed to be. At some point, they're going to come back to where they're supposed to be. At some point, silver is going to gain back all the losses that it suffered or the momentum that it should have had prior to the pandemic. And it's going to come back in a major way. I believe it's going to come back because the demand is going to be as strong, if not stronger, but the products to meet that demand is just not going to be available. So the supply lacking, demand increasing. What does that do? Well, it's just the whole idea of supply and demand. when there's greater demand and not as much supply, well, that drives the value up. So that's what I'm looking for. But also, by the time I'm ready to use my silver in a financial way, when I'm ready to use it as a benefit to me financially, I believe all this will be worked out and silver will have greater value than it has right now. At least that's my gamble. That's why I buy silver, and that's why many of you buy silver. You understand that this is not permanent. This is temporary. Things are still ticking. The clock is still ticking. Time is still moving forward. So all these things are just what's happening now. We got to keep in mind that the future is inevitable. I mean, things are going to change. And you want to be able to adjust to that change. And you can't do that if you let today stop you from preparing for tomorrow. So that is just my take on it. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. If you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe, ring that bell, and you'll be notified as soon as I make another video. But anyway, just a short video today, just to share with you guys some of the things that I think are important to understand about why silver and gold are diverging right now, and that is just temporary. It's temporary. And when these things correct themselves, when things come back to some sort of normality, I believe silver is going to be in a lot better place than it is right now, or has been in the past. I think we're about to see a value of silver that's going to skyrocket and maintain that value for years to come. Anyway, that's my take on it. So let's just keep this silver chain rolling. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Keep stacking. Peace.